another note, you seem to be very fascinated by the use of space in your programming and your performances, the conversion of non-performing spaces into theaters or performing in non-performance spaces such as the rehearsal halls you have used in the past. So I was wondering if you talk a bit about this aesthetic and how it informs your choices and your vision, architecture, urban landscape, or non-performance
Do you say
elements.
that for the festival I did at Lyon, or you're saying about Greece
I'm
or about
saying,
everything?
my first inspiration is first from Greece, that you have transformed the whole industrial space into theaters, but then during my research I found out that you have done it in the past before. You have opened the rehearsal rooms, for instance, for performance.
Yeah, we did more than that actually. I think the motivation is not to accept that performance should be only at that space. But this is not something I have invented. I mean, everybody's doing it since years and years. And but in some places where the location, the space where the performance is supposed to happen is very sacralized. How do you say it? Sacralisé. You know. So I want to desacralize and just tell them we can be. So at the Lyon Opera, where of course we only perform on the stage, and sometimes some people are coming in our studio that has beautiful view to see a rehearsal. I did a small festival called Service à tous les étages, which is, you know, service in all floors, and dancers and musicians. There was a cello player with a dancer doing a solo on that floor, and somebody, just to see that only in this house people are rehearsing, they're, you know, preparing the costumes, rehearsing with their instruments, dancers are warming up, so the public could come and see that there is a big building where lots of things are happening. The same thing happened in Athens when I arrived, because the two major or only spaces of the Athens Festival was Herodaticus, a Roman Odeon under the Acropolis, and Epidaurus, which is an antique theater, Greek antique theater of the 4th century before Christ. So these were the two spaces, very, very important and very sacré, you know, so it was so serious that it was frightening almost. So, you know, and then of course for contemporary art, how you can have somebody like Maguy Marin, we mentioned before, or Merce, or you know, Ostermeyer, or the Wooster Group, or whatever, going in these places. So you needed some music. So I started searching in factories, and there were many abandoned factories, because nobody thought in Greece what already was happening in Germany and France and everywhere else in here, that these places could be used. And actually, some of these factories, I don't know if you've seen or if you've been there, have been the very center of the festival now, because that's where all the young companies are coming for theater, for music, for dance. And of course the young people are going there also because the tickets are cheaper, the program is interesting, so it has changed the face and the profile of the festival.
So you would say it has been embraced by performers and audiences alike, either in the case of Lyon, in the...
Absolutely,
yes?
absolutely. Yeah, because of course, you know, the artists also, they very much like to change and to go out of these conventional and official spaces and try to find, it doesn't mean that they want to go back again or do different things, but it's...
So you have been quoted as quoting Forsythe, who said that modernity is a state of mind. And I was wondering, we see dance nowadays becoming more and more interdisciplinary, fused a lot with theatrical elements, with visual arts and video work, even with testimonial material, with thematically, with issues about memory, about history. So I was wondering if you think that we're still in modernity, or we're moving towards a new era for the performing arts and for dance in particularly, and if this is a response to issues of globalization, shifting borders, shifting identities.
Why that shouldn't be modernity anymore?
I mean, I'm asking you, I don't know if it's
no, I think modernity has different faces, you know, I don't think modernity is from here to here. You can go there and still modernity. I think one of the aspects of, or maybe, you know, phases of modernity is searching always to find something new and trying to make it, to find something different and see if we can apply this to that, and if we can go from here there and can use this and that and maybe use this space and not that space and that. So this is all a movement that, I mean, you know, in America they, especially in modern dance, I mean, they have invented practically everything, and you can see now around the world, even I think you mentioned Rachid Ramdan before, because he did a testimony. All these young generation of French choreographers such as Boris Charmatz, Christian Rizzo, Jérôme Bel, Rachid Ramdan, Alain Buffard, they're all inspired by American postmodernism and at the same time by German expressionism and by what France is or what they are, like Rachid, whose father was from Algeria, or Christian Rizzo, whose father was from Italy, or you know, all this. This is what we are. We are searching, and you know, different ways, different approaches, and sometimes interesting results. You know.
So do you find that this opening to interdisciplinarity, to new forms of art coming into dance, is changing the body and the understanding of the body and the forms of expression themselves?
Well, I don't think it's changing the body, but it's also I don't think that it's something new, because you know, I mean, when Merce or Trisha or you know, people were working with Jasper Jones or Aschenberg, visual arts was already part of a dance performance. Maybe now with site-specific and different kind of performances, or some of the choreographers are more visual artists than choreographers, or both, like Christian Rizzo. Yes, it does change. I must say that personally, being a dancer, I sometimes feel frustrated because there is too much about all these things we talk about and less about dance. And I feel frustrated not to see people dancing. I would love to have all these things plus more steps. So maybe sometimes, you know, you don't need steps. I don't know. I'm maybe too old to, you know. But I mean, it's true that, I mean, the choreographers were doing here, for instance, in that program, we have all these different researches going there and there, but at the same time you see the dancer dancing and doing all that with steps and not only text. Sometimes I you know, it's too much concept, too much text, too much visual arts, and okay, I can understand that not moving, it's also a way of moving, but once we've seen this way of moving, which is not moving, I would love to see another way
which is
moving, you know.
Yes. So you're one of the most important artistic directors and very well respected. So I was wondering if there are things that you would like to change in your work, or new things that you're interested in trying, or
I'm trying interesting, new things all the time. I think that
a challenge to yourself. What would
I think that that we can, the fact that people travel a lot, and I can see that in dance, you know, people are coming for workshops, for master classes and all of that. This is an amazingly good thing, you know, it's like learning a new language and going somewhere and trying to speak with the people who are speaking this language. I think in France or in Greece, that happens enough, could also happen in the music world more than it happens now, or in the theater world, or in the visual arts world, because strangely enough, in the dance world, usually we are at the very end. We are less rich, we're less famous, we have less, you know, facilities and studios and subsidized and everything than all the rest. But strangely enough, because the body is so universal, I see in many places around the world people coming from different countries teaching this kind of technique or this tango. And I see, for instance, in France, or even more so in Greece, not so much exchange with actors, theater directors, musicians, you know, with master classes and workshops, which I think would be very good to help, you know, young students of these disciplines to improve and learn more.
That's interesting, because also, yes, I was reading in the work you do with the Cannes Festival, the Dance Festival of Cannes, that you're placing a lot of focus in education with
This is because the Cannes Festival was you know, founded by Rosella Hightower, who was a major American ballerina, who also founded a very, very important school for ballet in Cannes. And so education was already part of the festival, because when Rosella founded the festival, they had a few companies and many schools where they were performing and they were showing what they were learning in school. So I continued this tradition, let's say, to invite any young choreographers and young people from different schools and do new things like that, yes.
That's great. Great, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It was such a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.